All right, guys, welcome back. I'm sure you're gonna stumble across a video that I just did, but um, it is what it is. I mean, people are like really seriously, and again, trying to fix this camera thing. I think I pretty much got this thing figured out. It's pretty cool, but uh, then again, the weight pulls it down a little bit, so I'm still trying to adjust the bending in the adjustment screws and stuff to get the arm to stay up a little bit more. But either way, again, in case somebody doesn't watch the other video, uh, here we go. Okay, the transformation video I did, and some of the comments on there is out there, but it's okay. Let them post it. Let them have fun. I did the video, and I know a lot of you have been saying for a long time, Nelson, why don't you do it? Because like I said, I'm not going to allow the devil to get a foothold into anything. Um, but I'm done. I mean, honestly, I'm done dealing with that stuff. I mean, it's exhausting, and I'm just, if anything, all through it, I just wanted you guys to see how to really go against and defeat any family member, any people on the outside, anybody comes against you. Don't be afraid of it, and that's where I was going with all that. There comes a time and a place and everything, and right now we're coming into difficult times, and I'm not going to waste my energy doing that right now. There may be a time later on that I come back and just write down these people, and again, it's like going in and telling Lucifer, "Hey, do you know you're a liar, Lucifer?" Lucifer, you're just nodding your head. Do you know that you're a liar? Do you know that you're full of hate? That's about what you would see. It's kind of nonsense, isn't it? Especially when we know the authority and the power that Jesus Christ gives us and his blood has over us. One single drop of blood will defeat it. The mention of the name, they shall flee from us. But it takes a lot. You got to change your ways. You got to change, let your flesh not no longer be in control. Your fleshly desires and all these things that goes with it. You got to learn how to get rid of stuff out of your life. So anyways, transformation. So some people asked, fair enough. I mean, I think I would ask too. So the question was, when did I fully surrender to Christ and not hold the pen in my hand? When did I fully give this pen back to God and let him write the chapters of my life? Well, I'm glad you asked, because I'm about to tell you. So after the last demonic house and all the stuff that was happening in there, and the back and forth, and thinking, okay, I'll just surrender my life back into hell, leave them alone. I know the children have their own opportunities and they're going to go their own way, but I was willing to take the gamble of it, going sacrifice myself to allow them to be saved. Maybe they'll stop all the sinful things they're doing and the activities, and let all these things be done out of their lives. Maybe they'll make it to heaven. But the goal is, even if we save one, well, I know Darlene was going to church no matter what. So even if one was spared, it was worth it. Living in hell, I would have sacrificed. Some of you may say, I don't know. I don't know if I could do that. I agree. I don't recommend it. I recommend you pray and pray and pray and pray. Pardon me, we'll get something to drink. I don't drink for a reason, because what I'm drinking out of, it's not in a cup, and I don't want anybody to think, because I have people saying, oh, you're mentioning this and this and this, you're endorsing. Does anybody not have anything better to do than sit there and come against everything I'm saying? I mean, honestly, it's kind of exhausting. But then I see the positive, comments. And again, like I mentioned on the other one, um, somebody posted a nice defense for me, and then they deleted it, and I was sad. I mean, it was truly sad because I was in a hurry when I seen it, and I'm going through there, and I've been starting at the bottom and working my way to the top of comments because I'm losing track of where everything's at. But anyways, it was about if you happen to stumble across this one, you don't watch the other one. You commented about this James Zappa something. Zapata. Thank you. If you don't see that other video, I thanked you in that one, but thank you. I wish you would have left a comment on there because, I mean, that truly touched my heart. So anyways, okay. So I took that. I started reading more. I started praying more. I started trying to change my life. And I tried to control my anger more. And the more I started digging more into the Word and learning Jesus, I kept asking him, please control my anger. Please control that wanting to slide back into this demonic activity. And he just kept telling me, baby steps, baby steps, baby steps. And, I know a lot of people have problems with me saying I hate God, I hated God, and all this stuff. I don't hate God today. There's a big difference. But then I did. And I'm truthful. I mean, you can ask me anything you want about my life. I'm not going to hide it from you. I'm not going to sugarcoat anything. Then again, if this is too much for you, then I'm sorry. If you want certain kind of teachings, well, then you need to go to those channels and be fed. But it also takes you to open the Bible and to learn it, okay? So that being said, I had to really get into a place where I trusted Jesus. And through this trust, I had to learn who he was. So he took me to Genesis. He took me into Exodus. He took me all the way into the Gospels of Matthew and all those, Revelation, and he bounced me all over the Bible, showing me different scriptures. I also started to learn the Father through the way that he took me through the Bible. Now, granted, I wasn't too much on the Father because a father figure, a father figure was abusive, and so that's why I had such a problem with any kind of male authority. These days, women are intense. I mean, some of these women that are put in power is intense. I mean, I've worked under a few women that I just can't. I couldn't deal with it. I was like, I got to leave. I just can't deal with this. So the more I started learning and walking and praying, and the more the spiritual realm started opening back up to me because I blocked it. I called it. I would call it a curse, and I fought against it. And so as I started allowing the Spirit to come and sit with me, sometimes it was overwhelming. I would just back away from it. Like, no, this is way too much. You're asking me to go against everything that is in my life. I can't watch certain kind of movies. This is bad for me. This is bad for me. It's like, man, I mean, and you think I would be the first one to say, yeah, I knew what the music was. I knew what the movies were. I knew what the things did. But things were still failing in my life so bad. I mean, it was just like one thing after the next after the next. And that's why I say today, I know when the Lord is speaking to me, like in the truck, man. It's like something always blows on this eye. Um, I know when the Lord's speaking to me because things happen. Things in my life become so difficult that I know I have to walk away from it. And when you're obedient, the pain, the overwhelming feeling comes out of your life. Okay. And that's what it does in mine. I told you before, it's like I just want to throw up and I get these real bad stomach pains and all this stuff. And I just want to flee from it. But the amazing part about it is look at today. Look at the journey where God has led me. Look at the journey from the pathway that God has created for me from birth to my last day of breath here. It may be in the rapture, it may be before. I don't know. Only He knows. He knows the timeline, and He knows the timeline for everybody. He knows the timeline for everything. And I don't question it. I just try to do the best I can do every day. Surrendering took me a lot. It took me a long time to surrender to Jesus, to let alone to learn that He is the bridge and He is basically our lawyer that goes to God, the judge. Will we be judged? Most likely on some things in heaven that you didn't repent from, that you may have not asked, and that's why I ask. Ask the Lord daily to examine you through the day. If you feel something coming on you, even a little white lie, how does this look on me? Oh my gosh, I don't want to hurt their feelings. It looks, well, yeah, I like it. It looks, what was that? It's a lie. Because even though you're trying to spare somebody, I used to tell people that sometimes. I did tell people that. Oh, it looks okay on you. Just okay? What exactly does that mean? Now they know that you're coming. I was looking at that number. Now they know that you're not telling all the truth. See where this goes? Just be truthful, people. Just be. Sometimes I say you might not want to ask me because I might tell you something that you're not wanting to hear. No, Nelson, I really do. That's why I came to you. Okay. Well, here's my opinion of it. See, God already knows. Jesus already knows. He knows our thoughts. He knows what we're going to say. He doesn't want a puppet. He wants to have a relationship with you. And it took me a long time to figure this out. It took me a long time after I figured it out to give it to him. I'm not embarrassed. Naturally, it would take me some time because look where I came from. But how many of you grew up with Jesus? How many of you grew up with God, but yet still watch things you shouldn't be watching? How many of you are watching television and listening to cuss words and everything else, and you find no problem with this? I actually watched the show the other day, and there was a lot of cuss word in it, GDs in it, and all this stuff. I used to drop the GD all the time. I mean, honestly, it. When you hate something, you don't really care. You're going to attack them in any way that you can. Maybe that's why people come against me. Maybe they hate me that much that they want to come in and attack me. Maybe my words that the Lord gives me is defensive to them. Oh, I'm offended by this. Well, I'm offended by a lot of things, but I really don't have the time to go and protest it or to want events taking place in it. And I don't have the energy or the time for it. I'm sorry that we've had a lot of different things happen in life and history, and you can go all the way back to Hitler. We can go all the way back to beyond Hitler. We can go back to Pharaoh. We can go. We can go all the way back to Adam and Eve. People disobedient. We didn't obey. We didn't listen. We still don't listen. We still haven't learned. So think about your life. Think about where you are. Don't worry about your husband. Don't worry about if you're a guy, your wife, your boyfriend, your girlfriend. I'm doing everything I possibly can. I don't want them to go to hell. Well, if they're not willing to take Christ into their lives, you've done all you can do. Don't let yourself slip away. The Scientology and all this kind of stuff is the biggest nonsense, demonic people line up the stars and line up, well, because Taurus is down here and this is lining up here, and you outline it and it looks like a woman getting ready to have birth. It's demonic. I'm not. You can think what you want, and it truly is, because I studied all this stuff, and I know exactly what it means. I mean, I know how to use the stars. I know how to when certain planets are lined up. If that's what you want to believe, then believe it. But you also have to know that heaven is not opened up to these kind of nonsense thoughts, because the Bible doesn't teach it. It tells you to look, watch for the skies for signs and wonders. Okay. The Bible also goes into detail what to look for. It doesn't say to look for astrologies and all these things. It doesn't say to go off of science belief, because you're a fine line of becoming an atheist at this point. Do you really think atheists, unless they repent, is going to come? Do you really think if an atheist at the last moment in Christ comes and calls up his children, do you really think an atheist is going to have time at that time? You can't repent. People, when Jesus is here, the Bible clearly states, "Be gone from me, I do not know you." Well, I did good works in your name. I cast out demons. I did charities. I help people. Blah, 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 blah. It's like having faith, but you have no good works. We were just talking about this morning. It's no good. It's no good. None. To do all these things and not have love, you might as well not do nothing. How do you know when you've forgiven somebody? You forgive them because you can pray for them. And you truly pray for them. When you can pray something good into somebody that has come against you and done bad to you, when you can pray for good into their lives, woo, it's power. God's to judge people. If they're going to come to heaven and you actually run across them in heaven, you're not going to know what they did to you here on earth. Believe it or don't. It's up to you. It's up to you what you want to believe, okay? I'm not here to persuade you into thinking my way and this is the only way, it's my way or the highway. No, it's not. You're free to post what you want on here. People are coming on here posting stuff on their channels and come watch this, come watch that. At first I was like, why would you do that? And then I'm thinking, if it's godly, by all means, go watch it. But ask Jesus. But my thing is, when you come on here and you post stuff that I've already talked about, and you come on here and you say, I'm going to bring the truth to you and this and that. I've already spoke it. You're not coming up to come in here. It's almost like, I feel like you're trying to take away from what I've spoken about and saying it's not truthful. Let me bring the truth. Well, you preach it your way and I'll preach it my way. Let's just agree on that. And again, it irritates me more when someone says, well, I'm leaving here because you're not doing it this way, that way, this way. Okay, well, you knew way back how I do things. Don't try to come in here and try to change me or give me this A or B. Pick one of the two. B, you either do it this way, or B, I'm leaving. Well, okay. Well, the door's always open. You can come back anytime. But please do it before Christ comes. Because maybe all you're going to have is these videos. If they leave this stuff on. They might not. But I got tablets and tablets and tablets. Come on down to my house. Come in here, grab the tablets, and take them and hide them and read them. Somebody mentioned a while back, do a ministry, write a book. I tried writing books, people. I can't do it. I actually, Darlene tried doing it, and she says, problem is, Nelson, you're all over the place, and it's hard to go from this point to this point to this point, which I understand, because it's like life. Our lives is one living book. Things happen that it leads me back into different parts of my life, things that I forgot about. When I went on the Randy K video and did uh, the hell video, I kind of wrapped everything into hell, but I actually forgot the part about Georgie, and I was going to put him on there just so people can see what I'm talking about. But you see how things, you lose focus sometimes, and probably one of the harder videos that I did as I'm getting ready to get into this. This to me, doing what I'm doing right now, what I'm about to tell you, and I have spoken on this, but truly is what made me finally fall to my Savior's feet and put my hands upon his feet and kiss his feet and just say, please totally forgive me. And I haven't said anything, but you know 2 years ago my son came against me because his wife took something some way. I guess her dad did bad things to her, and we were having a conversation about stuff. It was about Christmas, about a grill, and all this kind of stuff like this. And my thing is, you know, I didn't trust her because she has ripped me up and down before, and I did a testimony at their church, and yes, her mom and them own a building which used to be a church. And I say used to be because these people cast more damn stones at people than anybody I've ever seen in my life. They have more wickedness coming in and out of that church. And they have such wicked tongues. I mean, sing songs of Jesus, but then come out and talk such hate. Look at me, look at me, look at me, but then talk such hate. And then you're going to post Bible scriptures and talk about Jesus and talk about love. Talk about, you can come sit next to me. And so I commented, what about me? Never a reply to me. Well, thank you. Because I can honestly say right now, if I didn't know the things I knew, I would have never accepted Jesus Christ. Matter of fact, you make me question sometimes when this kind of stuff happens because you want to take a false word because of my spelling, or I don't know, I don't put punctuations, or I don't put whatever. I think they're all punctuations. I don't know, question marks, periods, explanation marks and stuff. I had to ask the other day. Somebody sent me something with a bunch of the explanation marks. I think they are the lines with the little dots under it. Bunch of them. I said, what does that mean? Well, they're either anger or read what I don't understand. It's words. How does anybody tell if someone's angered or not? Why don't you just say, hey, I'm upset, and skip over it instead of making people assume, or that's where problems come in. And the thing of it is, I had proof. I even showed my wife because they turned around and sent Darlene this message of everything through there, and I'm going down through every part of it, and I say, well, this is what I was doing here, this is what I was talking about here, the not trusting thing. And I was doing this scrapbook thing like we did years ago back with Darlene, and I still got the book, and I contacted this place, and I was going to do these cool, I was going to have them do it, but I was putting the storyline together, and I didn't have no pictures of his wife. She said, go on Facebook. And I said, because we were talking about trust, I don't trust her. And I said, how then do I can believe I can trust you? There's got to be proof in here somewhere. And through all this, it's like, we're talking about all this, and I said, oh, can you send me some pictures of you? She said, you mean like a selfie? There's all kinds of these things on Facebook. I said, I don't know how to get the pictures off of Facebook. I said, but can you please send them to me to my phone, because I was going to go to Walmart, print them out, and send this stuff. And I said, I don't care how you send them. I don't care where you get them from or how you send them, but can you please send them to my phone? So we're in this, and then Selfie, my oldest sister, I was telling her about all the stuff that took place, and she sent me a definition of selfie. Well, I had another person tells me, well, depending on the generation, it may mean like a nude picture or something like that. And I was offended by that. I was like, well, that's not clearly not what I was asking. Because you take a trust thing, because I'm speaking about trust, and you thinking I'm asking for a nude photo, and this is my son's wife. And because I said what I said afterwards, I was like, I don't, even if I was single and young, I don't see her as that type. Even if my son wasn't dating her, it's not somebody I would normally go up to. I guess it's a polite way to say it, and I'm not saying nothing. If that's my son's type, that's fine. That's him. I accept it, no matter what the nonsense. Because I did the testimony in there, and she goes, "Oh, you want pity?" And blah, blah, blah. I mean, it was hurtful. I mean, I don't know how old they are. My son's in his 30s, and her words. I mean, when I'm reading that, I was at work, and I'm reading it, and it brought tears to me. I mean, I'm like, holy moly. And even then, I was still struggling with Jesus. The Lord would speak through me. He'd tell people things unbelievable. Tell people things that turn around today, discredited. I can't help what happens, people. So the trust start was because she wanted to get a grill, and I was going to help her get this grill thing for my son. And I looked at the price of it, and I was like, wow, you know, don't forget, I do for one, I have to do for the others. But nobody was, really talking to me at the time. And but still, I'm not trying to bring pain to any of these children. Well, why is Dad doing this for you and not for us? And blah 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 blah. I mean, I'm not putting myself on the Black Widow's web here and allowing myself to get my head bit off over and over and over. First of all, I don't have to explain to anybody why I do what I do. So the ironic part is, right before this, my son said, I have trouble understanding my dad's text messages. And then he took it the way he wants to take it because he doesn't want to stand up against it. He doesn't want to stand up for me. And I'm thinking, you know me. You know all the crap I went through with your mother. When have I ever done anything? And I wasn't even truly connected to your mother. It was a mutual thing, separation. You do what you got to do. Leave me alone. I don't care if you leave. You don't have to explain nothing to me. It was better than paying everything I had off the child support and jump through all the hoops that this woman tried to put me through. So I sacrificed my life for these children. And then I'm going to be accused of wanting to have pictures. I don't care. Think what you want. First of all, young girls, I mean, give me a break. I mean, you're old enough to be my child. Now, I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with age. Don't get me wrong. I'm saying we judge accordingly to age and stuff like that. I'm not saying anything. I'm not taking that. That's just not me. I have a bracket. I mean, as anybody probably would. I don't look at other people. I look at some people going, is it a money thing? And you're hoping this person's going to kick the bucket and you're going to inherit a lot of money because you're married to this person and you think this person's going to. I mean, that stuff does go through my head. But that's not the case. This is my son. I would have put my life on the line for him. I truly would have. I took the boy everywhere. I was paying him money out of a business that his mom was robbing blind. And paid him. Why I was going to work at another place to try to keep the business up and going. Because I owed so much money to vendors and everybody else. Hurtful. Very much. And the fact that her same family is the one that took me to court before and I almost went to jail. And it just came in a time in my life that tore me down. I mean, I'm over it, and I know, but it is emotional, come on here, and I'm telling you all this because it kind of took me back a few steps, and I started questioning Jesus, like, well, why wouldn't you defend me? Why wouldn't my son defend me? We were at the store. I don't know if you guys have this store around you, Myers. Some may say, I had a guy used to tell me, Nelson, say it with me, it's Meijer, it's Meijer. No, it's not. They pronounce it Myers. When you go in the store, it's Myers. Do you go in the store? They say, welcome to Myers. Welcome to Myers. I don't know. Is it because of where it came from? Is the J pronounced different? I don't know. I don't care. Call it what you want, but why do I got to pronounce it the way that you want me to pronounce it? But anyways, he come up to me right while all this was going, and I wasn't paying attention. I was watching Darlene and listening to what she was saying, and I didn't even know it was my son at first. Jerks the cart. Well, granted, I had my weight leaning on the cart, and the hip problems and stuff like that, my legs and stuff like that, pulls the cart. I damn near fell on the floor. And I looked at him, I said, what's wrong with you? And he just like gets this mean look, and I'm thinking, boy, don't do it. I mean, he's balled up his fist at me. He's knocked the wind out of me. He has done stuff. And one time I actually had to put him on the floor because he got a little too much. And that's what I got to live with. He blames me because he decided because he was grounded. And he blames me because at the time he was dating the girl that he's married to today, I'm leaving. It's not my house. You're not my dad. He forgets those words. You're not my dad. It's not my house. Blah, blah, blah. And it started raining, so I brought him out trash bags. And I even said, what are you doing? Here, come on. Because I didn't invite him back into the house. He held that against me. He was buying a truck off me. Okay, well, I got a bunch of kids. I still need a vehicle too. I'm trying to help you out. I'm sacrificing using one vehicle, putting myself now around a schedule trying to help you out, but you don't see it that way. Then you don't want to pay on it. Well, I got a truck pay, another car payment now. I got to pay that. I had a truck already paid off. I'm helping you, but you're not paying me. So now I didn't have the money because I had family members come against me at the job that I was working, both jobs. The one had to be at work at 4:00, and I had people come against that too. It's okay. Today I know when God wants me to move somewhere and leave a place. So that kind of gives you guys a little rundown of my son. It's funny how they don't look at life from me. It's all the pain. Oh, what you did to my wife and what you did to me. And what did I do to you? I'm speaking the truth. I would never try to take advantage of, first of all, any younger girl. I would never try to take advantage of especially my son's wife. I mean, come on. You have no idea. They have no idea the pain and the torture and the people. I had people stop talking to me. And then Darlene's daughter pipes up with a bunch of stuff. And I don't have the time to get into all that. But my nephew Franklin wants to pipe a bunch of stuff because I'm commenting on his videos, on his comments on Facebook. And I'm going, listen, man, I'm not guilty because he keeps saying I'm guilty. Well, these comments, you just assume they're by you. No, I'm not assuming they're by me. I'm just speaking. How dare you post something against somebody else when the Bible clearly says, because he claims to know the Bible, he claims to go to church, but yet he gets on there with his... And tell me something, people. If you came against me, okay, I have a Guns N' Roses shirt on, and you say something about it, and then all of a sudden you're posting another picture, you're sitting in the chair, making sure the Guns N' Roses shirt's being seen, and then you're doing this, or pointing up at yourself and doing all this stuff, like this cockiness, arrogance. And that's exactly what it was. And then you post it in every single picture. How is that not supposed to be taken, you're coming against me? Because we had this conversation. I don't care. I love him and I don't want him to go to hell. But if you want to sit there and claim to be the devil and follow the devil's ways, that's where you're going to go. You think you're exempt because you once followed Christ? I question whether you ever followed him or not. It's the fact that you lied to me. I know your lies. Tell me the truth. Tell me this. Tell me that. What lies? I didn't, because you're a narcissist. Look it up. It's the flow of the water, people. That's why I pray, God, take anything out of my life. He never does no wrong. Everybody else does. I know the wrongs I've done. And I confess things that I've done. There's still things in my demonic past. And like I tried to tell him, don't come at me. You don't know nothing about me. You don't know where I've been. You don't know the things I've seen. You don't know the things I've done. I've seen things that make you run and scream and cry like a little baby. Because you choose to judge. You choose to come against people in life. And that's what people do. And this is where I have to dig even deeper in prayer and dig even deeper. And it's like the last few weeks, it's just like everything and anything. I've seen screenshots that were sent to me, stuff my son has said. I've seen things off of Facebook that my son has said, his wife, other people. And I'm sitting there thinking in my head going, you all don't even know the truth. You had to take me to court to find out truth before, but you're afraid to knock on the door. You're afraid to knock on the door. People, don't be afraid. If you're coming against people, then why did we not go to the source? I'm telling you all this because think about if you're doing this to someone, you could be pulling somebody away from God. Even as closest walk as I have with him. I had to go and repent. The last few days I've been repenting of thoughts that I've had that I shouldn't have had. It's sad because I've always wanted children. I always wanted a big family. Grandkids. It's never going to happen. And I'm okay with it. I have to accept it because that's what I ask Jesus to do daily in my life. Take anything away from my life. Somebody asked me, what happens if she passes away? Well, at first, I've told her, I said, if I pass away, just take all my stuff and get rid of it. Keep whatever you're going to need to fix something around the house or something like that. Tools, clothing, whatever. Just get rid of it. She goes, well, I'll get a hold of your kids first if they want it. And I said, please don't. She says, I respect your wishes, but I'm still going to. I know you're upset. And I said, I'm not upset. It's just, I was beyond understanding, especially when these kids have seen everything they've seen and what I've went through. They knew all the stuff their mom was doing, but yet never decided to come and tell me. I mean, I can hold a lot of stuff against people, but I don't. What does this have to do with me finally surrendering? It has everything to do with it. This is my life, people. This is stuff people accuse me of. Call me a monster. His wife called me the devil. Hell, my second oldest sister called me Lucifer. She also called me the Elephant Man. She also called me numerous things. I mean, we come with a wicked tongue sometimes, and we come with judgmental. And I I've been reading a lot of the comments, and you know, thank you for the loving, peaceful comments. Still today, I don't feel like I deserve it. Still today, I don't feel like I deserve God's mercy or Jesus' love. But I'm glad. I feel like a workhorse some days. And I feel like all I'm good for is doing for someone. I have a hard time even when my birthday just come in. I got home and um, we went to, I can't think of the name of it. It's basically Amish country or Amish. Um, you know, we went out there and uh, spent the day, got some food, and I think we went to the store on the way back. Maybe not. Maybe we came straight back because we got ice cream out there. I think we got ice cream out there. No, I don't think we did. But anyways, it's not important. We come back and on the table there's gifts, and their family was the ones that would open gifts and read cards. I mean, read the words on the cards and all this stuff, and I, I'm like, oh no, you know, I've always wanted to just open gifts, even at Christmas. I always just wanted to open stuff, uh, just when nobody's around. Um, but I struggle. I'll do without my one headset in the truck. I could hear out of it, but the piece was broke, and the piece would fall off of it. It had the cushion that would rest up against your head, or if you turned the headset, depends on how you did put it. Either way, the piece on there that you could slide to adjust it came off, and the metal rod thing would just jab in my head. So, or it started shutting off, and there was a lot of issues. So I came home to one that I had similar to it, but I don't know what happened to it. It got messed up. So she went through all this trouble to find one for me, and then she had me a brand new pair of shoes, and um, I've always liked white shoes. I've always liked white shoes from a young kid growing up. I know it's a lot of work keeping them clean, and I had a pair of white Nikes, and I really liked them. It's like, and again, my son and his wife started calling them old people shoes and making fun of them. And that night, I was staying on the weekend there, and that night I went outside and I was just sitting on his wall, and I actually cried. It hurt. It hurt my feelings. And then I actually uh, left that night. I grabbed my clothes and my backpack and walked to the Walmart in Brimfield, which he doesn't live too far away, but it's still a hike when you're messed up and you're carrying a backpack and uh, clothes. And I was sad. It was a long enough walk, and I just remember praying, and uh, I got rid of them shoes. Now, when I see white, I tend to get away from. But these ones are not solid white. They're white and blue, and they're actually really nice. I actually liked them. I wore them the other day. Um, you know, we don't think about what we do to someone else, and this is what I've been doing. I've been re-examining my walk with Christ, um, and people that I've let into my life. I've been questioning: are these people good for me, Lord? You know, um, if not, pull them from me. She got me something else, but I can't remember what it was. Oh, body wash. I know it sounds funny, but honestly, I tell people all the time, you have no idea. I'm a very particular person. I'm very, like food wise and stuff like that. I'm picky about things. And, there's times when I'm tired. There's times that I tell her, she's like, I'm in a lot of pain. Um, I don't mean to be harsh. I don't mean to be in certain ways or come in different ways. It's just, there's a lot. There's a lot of things I see, a lot of things that I see in the upcoming events. What Jesus gives me, knowingly that I'm about to post this stuff, and I'm going to have to listen to a torturous event of things. Um, but I ask the Lord to forgive these people, my nephew, my son, his wife, um, my daughters, the other two boys. Again, I'm the bad person in their eyes because I hear it, I see it. Um, they think they can escape through the things. Uh, Total 8 of them. That's all right because I've always done the right things by you, and I know I'm not guilty, and I will never say I'm sorry for anything that I'm not guilty of. I'm telling you all this stuff because I'm trying to prolong going into. But I'm just going to say it because we're already at like 48 minutes. But all this is just nuggets of things in life. You know, be careful of how we use our words and what we falsely accuse people of and judge people of. You know, because it does have effects on people. So that being said, I do stumble sometimes, and I gotta ask the Lord to forgive me. But I am a prayer warrior, people. I mean, I seek God and Jesus on everything, every decision before I do it. So don't take these emotional, open up times the wrong way. I've been healed of these things. I've asked the Lord to give me comfort in these times because it starts to sometimes turn into a hatred. I don't have nothing to prove to them no more. You know, my same nephew that come against me, you need to make things right with your children. I'm done trying to make things right. It's up to them to do it now. Question is, the longer it goes, the more I go, I don't know. It's up to God, what God wants now, not me. Because there's too much hurt. So, I've always received visions. I've seen, I've written stuff on tablets for a long time. And I've had a connection with Jesus for a very long time. But I was still holding the pen. I was still holding things in my life that I thought I could correct and do on my own. I didn't need Jesus to do it because I'm always used to fixing things on myself. I didn't rely on Him. If I can't rely on Him, I can't see how Jesus is in my life. I can't see His place and what He can do. What I can lay things down at His feet. I can pray about something and I don't have to worry about it. I lay it at His feet and He takes it from me. And I was standing there one day with Him and He says, "What's it going to take? Show me the crucifixion, Lord. Show me the time when they arrested you to the time that you went to hell. What'd you do in the grave? What'd you do in them 3 days?" He showed me when He was up there praying. He come back down and talked to Peter and John. And I don't know who the other one was. I can't remember. And he says, can you not even stay awake an hour with me? Comes back and says it again. Now, I have to go into this and go, why would Judas have to bring Roman soldiers and stuff to arrest Jesus? You know, they're carrying torches. But why would Judas have to go up and kiss Jesus on the face? Why would he tell them, I should kiss him on the face? Well, because maybe at nighttime, and I'm just speculating here, maybe at nighttime, they have beards. You know, they're all dressed kind of like, you know, I would imagine they're all kind of wearing the same robes and stuff like that. So naturally, he would have to show some kind of sign. So I'll go up and kiss him on the cheek. Well, you would think even back then, because when they greeted each other, they greet each other with a kiss on the cheek and a hug. Today, we don't do any of that stuff. Heck, families are barely even hugging each other, or kissing each other, or you know, holding hands anymore, or spending time with their children. I mean, it's crazy, you know, beyond crazy. But so now this happens. They walk up to him, and Jesus says, "Who are you after?" We're after Jesus of Nazareth. He said, "I am he," and you know, let the others go. Pretty much, I'm just giving it to you the quick way. They come up and ask him again. He says, "I just told you, I am he." They fell to the ground. They get up. He doesn't resist. You know, they take him, and now they're punching him. He's falling, and I'm physically watching this. People, they're hitting him, ripping parts of his beard completely out of his face, and I hear him screaming out, not like in, like oh stop or anything like that, just in pain. I mean, he's flesh. You think at any moment he could have just said, "God send an angel," you know, or "I'm gonna cast this out of me," you know, the pain. He didn't do it. He took it. He took it to understand our pain. Like a good father that owns a company and lets their children go and learn every aspect of the company to learn to know what everybody's going to go through. And they learn and then they treat their employees really well. Interesting, isn't it? I worked for a guy, very nice people. You know, I went through a bad situation time. There was a time I was married to my kid's mother, and a bad time. I mean, I was in a horrible spot. And Jerry Vanderveer, I remember going in his office because my boss was being the guy that was over us. Uh, you know, just ripped into me one day down in the detail center, and I was like, you know, you show so much partiality that it's not even funny. And you know, we kind of had words, and I went outside, and he come out and yelled at me. I said, "No, you're not gonna sit there and scream and yell at me. I don't care if you are my boss." So he went up, had a conversation with Jerry, and um, you know, they found it best that I was to leave. So I turned my keys in and left. I had no idea where I was going to go, what I was going to do. And what the crazy part about it is, years later, I ended up buying a truck from him. Well, you know, the bed liner was supposed to be fixed, and you know, make a long story short, we actually bought two cars. We bought a Saturn, a green Saturn, out of the one on Verm Boulevard, which is in Akron, Ohio, and I bought a truck from them from the budget lot there on Arlington Street in Akron, Ohio. It was a plow truck, and they were supposed to fix some stuff, and I was having some problems with it. The tire sensors were all these electric stuff today, low tire pressures and stuff. They were supposed to fix it because they didn't put it on the We Owe thing. I'm arguing with them, and I asked to speak with Jerry and our Chris Bender, and it never happened. Well, it turns out to be the whole bottom of this engine, somebody sprayed it with black spray paint, the oil pan, everything. And granted, I mean, I was plowing snow and just starting this business back up, and the other plow broke and everything. So it's winter time, so I can only examine this thing for a certain point of it, and it looked good because I seen the black spray paint. Well, end up losing everything, and because they wasn't going to uphold anything, and you're talking almost a $26,000 truck. So I wonder where they really learned. And these people were nice. I mean, they'd get you turkeys and stuff on the holidays. They would cook out for us and stuff. Make sure we had plenty of drinks and fans and stuff during the summer months when it got hot. It doesn't matter. I worked for another company. This guy did the same thing. It's like blew me off. It was a trucking company. Uh, just blew me off. I was treated like crap. Same thing just happened to Crete. I can tell you it's so bad. Crete Carrier Corporation. Any drivers, stay away. They give you this whole thing. If you ever see their YouTube things when you're watching YouTube and you see it, listen to the one guy on there. I'm gonna have a hard time leaving out of here because of all the money I'm making. That's all the company's about, people. That's all it's about. They don't care how they treat you. They don't care what kind of trucks they put you in. They don't care. They tell you this recently. This is what part of the conversation was with me. Go. Well, you're the driver. You hold the CDL. You shouldn't be driving a truck. I said I've been asking for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks to get. What do you want me to do? I pick up a load and I'm supposed to be going by somewhere, and now all of a sudden I'm at a terminal. You guys are going to chew me out. It's a lose-lose situation. Place is rotten. Talk to you like you're a piece of nothing. They lie to you. They try to cover up their lies and tell you that no. And that's why I said I'm done with this stuff. There's a lot of things that's been taken. A lot of things have been ripped down, and people, and that's why I'm very cautious to speak to people. You gotta be truthful. So they arrest him, take him to Pontius Pilate. The high priest and all them there. I mean, obviously, you got two sets of people now. You got the people that he just fed, that came and sat and listened to him preach. They fed him. And now you got the people that are yelling, crucify him. So Pilate, his wife, had a vision of this was going to happen. So Pontius Pilate now trying to the Pharisees and the high priest is saying Caesar this, Caesar that. Well, he was in a little bit of issues with Caesar, so he wasn't trying to upset Caesar because he didn't want to lose his job. So now, him knowing what his wife did, the visions that she had. So think about this. So he says, okay, take him in. I think it's called scourging or something like that, where they basically whip them in. I think it's 40 times, 40 lashes, but they stop at like 38 so they don't overdo it. Well, in the meantime, they're taking him and still beating him, spitting on him, punching on him, pushing him down. And he goes into there. They strip him down naked. You got to understand, he's naked. On the other one that I talked about, I said he had the garment on because I didn't really want to give the full detail of it. But true, he's totally naked. To expose someone like that. You understand in the human history, for a female, we were just talking about this. It's for a male point, I look at it from my point, is the sight of things. For a male point, you look at it is a woman. Well, I would imagine be the same way. When you send pictures and you send stuff like that, you're opening a life in your doorways to people. Because today we do everything through pictures and all this kind of stuff like that. Um, and I know because if the wrong people watch this video, they're going, "Oh, wait a minute, you were just talking about..." No, I'm talking about clothed pictures here, people. Let's just face it. Um, you know, when you're in that relationship, you're going to tell me that people don't send these kind of things. I understand this stuff. It's like, you know, if you're the only problem is like boyfriends and girlfriends and stuff like this, the immaturity of it. What do they end up doing when they break up? They end up sharing these pictures with everybody and anybody, and it ends up on media sites and everything else. So, you got to understand what you're doing here. So, anyways, Pontius Pilate knows what's going to happen, so he sends him off. They take him in there, they strip everything off of him, and they start whipping Jesus. If you take a hot dog and boil a hot dog, when it boils so long and it splits open, that's what I was witnessing. Now, Jesus is standing next to me, and I'm watching this. And I turned and I was looking at him. And every time they took one of them reed rods and smacked him with it, I'd watch him arch up. Now he's looking face down now. And the whole time I'm watching Lucifer walk around and stare at him. And I heard the thoughts, just go ahead and kneel to me and I'll make this stop. Go to your knees and I'll make this stop. And he kept arching himself up more. The more Jesus would arch himself to where his body was basically flat like this and his legs were down like this. And he was holding on like this with the chains and stuff. And he was holding himself. Crack him again. Then they brought the whips. Started whipping him. And again, it's like, you ever get cut really bad and you look down and going, man, this is deep, this is bad. Or you've seen somebody get cut. Picture that whip would wrap around him and they'd pull it back. I know back in the day when we grew up, we had these cars. It looked like a zip tie and it had a handle like on it, almost looked like a T. And you put this thing in there and you would pull it out and the thing would race and the tires would spin and it would push the car off. That's what that thing sounded like when they pulled it off of him. I just see him move. I'm looking at him going, my gosh, you're the Son of God. Couldn't you stop this? Now granted, you're not thinking that he can hear your thoughts. And he says, I could have. But did you notice what I said to Pilate at the end of all this? If these were my people, if I was the king of these people, they would have came and defended me. Why would he say that in an area because it's a totally different group. These people were paid to come in there to make sure he was crucified. So I'm watching his backside get hit, his butt, his legs, his feet, the heel of his foot. Now, I didn't realize how bad it was getting on the front, but I'm watching every wound open up. And I pictured my sins. Not only did I picture my sins, But I pictured myself standing there with that whip in my hand. And I watched them soldiers smile and grin and laugh. If he said I did the same thing to him. I laughed at him when I sinned. I'm guilty of those sins. That's why I'm very cautious about sin today. So I'm counting. Granted, they're not supposed to go over a certain amount, let alone 40. And then there's another guy joins in. One's got a reed, one's got a rod, one's got a whip, one's got the flogger things that looks like 3 little eagle claws that basically when it hits you, it's like a stun gun, rips right off. And it's just 3 little, just ripping his flesh. It's exactly what it sounds like. People, I stopped counting. I turned. And I felt like I was about to throw up. Jesus looked at me and says, No. You wanted to see this. This is what I've done for you. Well, for everybody, but at the time it's me. And I said, Lord, look what I'm doing to you. Look what I've done to you. That's why I say I deserve hell. I deserved it, what I done to him. It was horrible. It was the most horrifying thing I've ever seen in my life. They rolled him over and did it again. It's hitting his face. His face is swelling up. And I'm listening to him moan next to me. And all I kept thinking about is my life, my sins. And I asked him, I said, Lord, I wish I could have been there. And he says, oh, my child, but you've taken enough, haven't you? Every time someone did something bad to you, I took it first. You know, it's very difficult when you see that kind of love and where we don't understand it. It's very difficult when people come against you. Because they see you how they want to see you. But it's okay. You know, I don't know how long this went on, but I just kept asking him, I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Please, Lord. They undid his chains. Now his blood's everywhere. I mean, he's bleeding bad. And I'm thinking there's no way he's going to live through this. They're dragging him through dirt. They wrap this robe back around him and stand him upright in front of Pilate. And Pilate's look on his face was unbelievable. When he says, your customs have, I should release a prisoner. Should I release this Jesus of Nazareth or Barabbas? They started yelling Barabbas, but no, he was a thief. He was no good, this guy. And Jesus was healing them and doing good things in their lives. Pontius Pilate went over and washed his hands. He said, crucify him. They started yelling, crucify him, crucify him. Well, the Romans, from my understanding of what I've read, they would only have to carry the top piece. They made Jesus carry this whole entire cross. They're pushing him down. He's falling down in dirt. He's got open wounds and all this dirt and all this stuff kicking him, punching him. I didn't forget. They were mocking him. They took the thorn of crowns. Said, here you go, king. Laughing at him, spitting in his face. You ever blow up a balloon? That's what he looked like. He was white. Open wounds, bleeding. They placed that thorn on there with these sticks. Pushed down on it. You can hear it break the skin. He let out this moan. And he says, I see this drop of blood run down his eyes, are like bloodshot red. You can see like the vessels of redness through his eyes. And he says, you see that drop of blood, my son? I said, yes, Lord. He said, that drop of blood is yours. Every drop of blood represents someone. I've watched them carried across. Now, if you ever, most time the Romans would crucify in a row. You ever notice why the two thieves on the cross were back and Jesus' cross stood outwards? Because Lucifer wanted to set an example. They laid him down. He's swollen bad. They wrapped these ropes around his wrist and pulled it. They had these plates. Most of the time, it looked like they would always do on the wrist, so they couldn't pull down through the wrist. They couldn't get his arms out, so they nailed him through there, through his palms. I heard him scream. And I'm just watching this. And they put that piece of wood to hold his feet up to his, where his feet and his knees were bent. You know, you can't put your feet down. You can't straighten your legs out. And they nailed him right through it. They rolled him over. Stood up on the back of the cross that's laying on him. And bent the spikes. Then rose him up. And the whole time he's asking God to forgive them, for they know not what they do. And all I can think about is my life. And all these times when I said I'm not hurting anybody. Nobody cares. He did. He went to the cross. He cared. He loved me. The hour was coming upon him. He said, Father, why have thou forsaken me? The sky started turning dark. Jesus accepted every sin on this earth, every sin. One by one, you see him jerking back. As soon as the last one entered, he said quickly, Father, it is finished. The thunder broke loose. The veil in the temple was torn. That means we don't need a high priest anymore to go on our behalf. Because he was about to bring the Spirit of God in him to us. He went into the grave. He arose, beaten, battered, just like I described to you. Went to the pits of hell and defeated Lucifer. Exactly how he was. Beaten, battered, swollen. If you don't believe me, read the Bible, because it says, when he said, do not cling to me, I have yet not been made new. Depends what version you're reading. That was the day I gave God back to Ben. Here I am today, people. People still see me the way they want to see me. That's okay. I'm not guilty. His blood paid the price. And I know the sacrifice that he took. And I know where I will go if I don't live a righteous life. I just want to thank you guys for walking on this journey with me. As I said, I got off the roller coaster. I walked that pathway in the desert. Now comes the decision, do I walk back to the roller coaster? Or do I journey into a cave? Sit and rest. But I'm a warrior. It's time to get back to the roller coaster. Time to finish the ride, people. Jesus paid the ultimate price. So this Easter, when you're celebrating Easter, it's not about a candy basket. Not about buying more toys for your children. Think about that blood. It's time to start changing tomorrow. Because what I've seen changed my life forever. Why I have got a big problem with people say the things that they say. But it's okay. That's their opinion. It's your opinion, what you want to believe or disbelieve. Either way, I still pray for you, and I love you. God gives me another day. I'll be back, I guess. But some things have changed me lately. So it's not that I'm blowing anybody off, because I haven't taken a phone call. I haven't responded. I'm day 15 in this 30 days with Jesus. That's what he asked me to do. I'm obedient to him. Either way, I'm obedient every day after this too, not just in these 30 days. Thank you all for being on this journey. God bless you. I ask for days of your table full. I ask for his favor and his mercy and his peace be with you. Repent before it's too late. I love you guys. Take care. I will never say goodbye, but I will say until I meet you again someday. Not saying this is the last video. It's up to God now. But I still think he wants me to finish those other two on the Cummings events that he showed me. But either way, God bless you. I'm sure you'll be hearing me say again soon. Till the next one.